What's up, wrestling fans? It's Scott, and as usual, man, my boy Kobe on the phone. What's up, brother?
What's up, bro? How are you? What's going on, guys?
Hey, man, we just got done doing our first, another weekly review of AEW. Now, as promised, we're going to jump into and give a little bit about what we think is coming. Just to, try to start some fun talk, man. Hopefully, get you guys involved. Start something regularly so we can all get online together and talk. But man, are you ready for it, brother? You ready? Let's talk wrestling.
Let's talk wrestling.
All right, man. So where we left off, and we left off with that Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa pay per view or main event. It wasn't even a pay per view, but it was pay per view worthy, pay per view
I was,
quality. That was
yeah,
unbelievable.
yeah, it was pay per view esque. That was a quality match. Those are the type of matches I like to see on pay per view. It's not even because of the unsanctioned type stuff with the tax and all that. It's just it was a good quality match. I mean, they laid their hearts on the line in that match, and you could see and you could feel the emotion that you're supposed to feel during a match.
Yeah, I mean the risk that they took. They're I don't want to the risk that they took, the things that they did, the things they put their bodies through. Um, Unbelievable.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
I mean, I
All right.
yeah, the things that they did during that match. Anytime you throw the thumbtacks, like you said, man, it gives me the heebie-jeebies, man. I've seen it up close and personal in PWE when they did that with Jay Graham. Went through some thumbtacks and seeing the thumbtacks up close in his elbows, in the back of his head, his lower back, his back, the referee's hands. Mitch Lebowski, who was his opponent that night, and his knuckles. Hell no, right? No,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
you couldn't
It
pay me
was.
enough to do that, man.
Yeah, yeah. You'd have to put $1 million on the line for me to take a slam into
Mm.
that and take a bump and yeah, it was incredible. Even what was it? Almost like I forget what the move's called, but where they put him on top of his shoulders and then go over and then I think it was Thunder Rosa did that to Britt or Britt did. I don't remember who it was anyway. And they went right on the ladder, like just
Oh,
having
like a Death
your
Valley
spine
driver.
hit the
Good
ladder.
lord, yeah, she hit a Death Valley driver. Basically, a Death
Yeah,
Valley driver onto the ladder. Britt
yeah,
just took a horrible shot on that. Um,
yeah,
a drop kick to the ladder that hit Baker in
yeah,
the face and just had her pouring blood. It looked like the Shawn Michaels match where he tried to cut himself as he was jumping over the ropes and just bled like a stuffed pig the rest of the night.
yeah,
Britt was
yeah. It
just
was
pouring blood. Um,
yeah, and even it's cool that they let Reba, I'm at Rebel, into the fold with taking a bump through the table, which
yeah,
was cool.
Rebel through the
So
table, and then they end the match with the Fire Thunder Driver from the ring apron through table on the outside to the pin. I mean,
yeah,
like I said, I was big into the women's revolution in WWE, the four horsewomen of professional wrestling. Their push and what they did in a very closed-minded, male-dominated professional wrestling at the time really started
yes,
opening the doors. This match, man, they kicked the damn door down and just busted through it because this match
yeah,
was
yeah,
amazing. Um,
yeah. It made and granted, I gotta give the four horsemen credit. They're hampered because they're not allowed to do a lot of that virus stuff that Britt and Thunder did, but
oh yeah.
it's still it did. It kicked the door down big time. It'd be nice to see that four horsewomen in WWE be allowed to do the same thing also.
Right. So in this one, man, I'm throwing my script away. Like the things I usually go off of, we're just gonna talk about stuff, right? So, um, I'm a big, what I'm saying, like I've always been a big Midnight Express fanatic. Rock and Roll Express, Legion of Doom. There is no Legion of Doom without the Rock and Roll Express, and there is no Rock and Roll Express without the Midnight Express. It just,
Right.
what I'm saying, like those three teams really made themselves what they are, and it is an absolute shame that the Midnight Express is not in the WWE Hall of Fame. Um, because they belong there. If you're going to put the other teams in, you got to put Midnight Express in. And with that being said, I'm a big Jim Cornette fan. With that being said, let me retract that. I was a big Jim Cornette fan. That dude, man, is losing his mind. The stuff that he's been saying, talking trash a couple weeks ago about Penelope Ford being pit stop Penelope, and I get it. It was to Oh man, it was to that one show with the Mach 5. I get it. I've watched late night cartoon television on Nickelodeon too, Jimmy Cornette. But you know what I'm saying, that's not how he was implying it. He was basically throwing out there, that she was not a good person. This week he took shots at Britt Baker, man, throwing stuff out about Britt Baker going from the penthouse because she's so beautiful to the outhouse and being like this workhorse. Dude, that's what she's getting paid to do, man. She's not a model. I think they do that in WWE a lot, man. I think that they have like this beautiful woman's. I mean, look at like Becky Lynch and some of those women wrestlers, man. That they'll wrestle, then they'll go on a little hiatus, and they'll come back and be like, dude, who the hell is that? They had facelift and so much work done that they're barely recognizable.
Yeah, yeah, Jimmy Cornette's. I mean, he's probably thinking back to his WWE days where he was, in charge of, some of the Attitude Era stuff and, being risque. And yeah, he's so old school that I think he doesn't see that a female wrestler is a female wrestler now. It's not a beauty
Right?
pageant or whatever. They're actually wrestlers and they're talented athletes. And Jimmy Cornette needs to see that. And
Right.
unfortunately, I don't think he does at times.
Wrestling fans, if you get a chance, go out and don't watch his show, but go out there and look at look for the tweets and stuff that went back and forth. Because that shit didn't go unnoticed, man. Miro straight up told him that he's going to fight him. You know what I'm saying? Miro put
Oh,
him on
wow.
Miro put him on notice for his talking about Penelope Ford that way, Kip's wife. He straight up said, I will fight you. I will tear you in half.
Well,
And
yeah, because if he's talking about his wife like that, he's almost talking about Miro's wife because Miro's wife is Lana in the WWE, and that probably doesn't sit well with him because it's pretty much the same type of woman. Pretty much, they're both beautiful blondes. Is what it is. So
And then, Britt Baker, she tore back into him. Man, I'm not going to say it on here, but again, go out and read some of those tweets that, Baker let him have it, man. She didn't hold nothing back. Saying some of the things, some of the more risque, disgusting things about Jim Cornette and his wife, and some of the things that happened behind closed doors. Man, she blew his butt up. And now this week, before we came on, I happened to look, and now he's cutting into Tony Khan and Kenny Omega, and he called Kenny Omega Twinkle Toes. That's how he refers to him. This dude has nicknames and shit like he thinks he's President Trump, man, making up nicknames because he thinks he's funny because he has all these followers and stuff, man. Man, that shit ain't funny, dude. Just
no, it's
report,
not
use your
fun.
position to report wrestling, man. Have an
Yeah,
interesting program. I get it, dude. You know WWE is over, man. You know WWE is mainstream because Cornette is trying to feed off of AEW's popularity to gain viewers for his show.
right.
You can't talk about WWE all the time because it's boring. There's not a whole
Yeah,
lot going on there. There's fan. I mean, if you watch WWE, that's cool, man. It's just not for me. I don't like the storyline right now. I just don't care for it. That's fine.
yeah,
I'm straight edge.
yeah,
I don't believe in drinking, but that doesn't mean you can't. I could care less, man. But
yeah.
WWE, it's just not for me right now. Hopefully, man, they turn the corner tonight. Actually, hopefully, the Fiend shows up and they actually do something with this Fiend Sister Abigail Alexa Bliss storyline angle that they got. But we'll see. But yeah,
Yeah,
Cornette, man, you
yeah,
need to shut up. Talking trash about Tony Khan because he cut a promo on Omega and talking smack about, dude, get out of here.
yeah. Yeah, I don't appreciate what he's doing lately. I heard, besides before that, he was doing something else with somebody. I can't remember who it was, but you just want him to realize that, hey, dude, like, come on, let's jump with the program. I mean, you've had your time. You still get to do your conventions. You get autographs. You give out autographs. You give out photos. The Midnight Express still keeps you relevant. So
Right?
that's good to go. It's just like, come on, Jimmy, realize, your time's up. Their time is now. So
Right? So, so yeah, that was a rant there on Jimmy Cornette. But so back to AEW and the basic stuff, man. Like with the Bucks, man, the Young Bucks getting kind of called out by Callis. He's basically extending that fruit from the tree, man, trying to get him to take a bite and come to the dark side with the Good Brothers and Omega so they can, basically reinvigorate the Bullet Club. in AEW. But the Bucks have been resistant, man. They refuse to too sweet them. Um, I can't wait to hear your thoughts, man. But this is my thought. I think it's time for Hangman Adam Page now. He's the first member of the Elite to be kicked out. And if you remember, it was Omega. He was the one saying he's out. It's time for him to go. Um, get him. I see. I would like to see. I think I foresee it coming. The Bucks and Page, kind of going at it against Omega and the Good Brothers, which of course is
Oh,
going to lead to finally Hangman Adam Page being the one to win that, getting that championship for one finally. And I think it's going to be Hangman. I still think it's going to be Hangman that dethrones Kenny Omega.
I hope so, because I hope the fact is that, like, as much as I like Dark Order, I'm not sure I really like Adam Page with Dark Order. I liked him being the cowboy. I liked him being in the Bullet Club. Uh, I've met Adam Page. I like Adam Page. Adam Page is a good dude. He's from, I think, Southern Virginia, I believe. I know he's from Virginia nonetheless. Great dude, great guy, nice guy. When you meet him, he's just a caliber guy, and he's a good wrestler, and he's got the look, and I'd like to see him be champ for a long time, honestly.
Heck yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, like I said, there's no telling which way they're going to go with it, man. The Bucks could, sell out and go join Callis and company, but we'll see, man. My personal opinion is we're going to bring Page back into the fold here. I think we forgot to mention on the last part of the show, but the uh, the Darby Allin during his interview, the few minutes that they did get to talk between interruptions from the Murder Hawk Monster and interruptions from Team Taz, he threw out that Brody Lee's the greatest TNT champion of all time in his mind, and he's going to give a championship match to somebody from Dark Order. And it ended up being it's going to be, of course, John Silver, Johnny Hungy is going to get that championship match this week coming up. I think this is where it's going to blow up, man. I think that the fans, it's going to be a great match because both of them are great wrestlers. They match up well size wise. They match up well style wise. But I think this is where Matt Hardy and his Matt Hardy Inc. is going to assert themselves as the absolute nemesis of the Dark Order. And I think they're going to probably cause that match to get thrown out or cause Silver to lose, which is going to elevate that battle between Dark Order and Matt Hardy. And that gives Page kind of a chance to start sliding out. He's there as a friend, like they were for him. But I think he's going to start to fade out, and it's going to be more of Matt Hardy Inc. against the Dark Order, the core Dark Order.
And I like that. I like that. That he'll basically be like an associate or an ally once in a while,
Yeah,
maybe for them. But
they're on the same
after
side,
that, he's back to being in the Bullet Club. Even though it's going to be a split Bullet Club, it's still going to be a Bullet Club of some sort.
right? I see. I think too. What else we got going on out there? Um, yeah, I think though, Archer has got the TNT. I think Archer's your next TNT champion. I think he's staked his claim to it. Um, I think it'll be a build. It'll take a while because I see Sting being involved in the rivalry with Lance Archer and Jake the Snake. But I think Lance Archer has got. I think he's going to take that belt from Darby. Not going to be probably a couple months away. Maybe they're May 30th, their next pay per view, the next Double or Nothing in Jacksonville. Um, but I think Archer is going to take that championship from Darby Allin, and run with it, which will be good too because then especially if you got Cage flipping sides, him and Hobbs battling it out. I'd love to see a three way between a triple threat match between Cage, Hobbs, and Archer for that TNT championship. But I think that takes it to the next level.
Yeah,
My personal
yeah.
opinion, I think Archer's your next TNT champion.
Yeah, even if let's just say they have Archer going against, and for whatever reason they let Darby win. Sting helps the Icon helps Darby get the win somehow, and it stays that way. I'm okay with that too, because I don't want belts flipping every every other
Oh
pay
yeah,
per view or every pay per view. So that's where I stand with that. So hopefully, I'm kind of hoping Darby wins, but I like Archer too. But I hope Darby wins for the fact is that a little stability with the belts, and they're not flipping constantly every other pay-per-view or whatever.
Right. Or man, even better, dude. The Pinnacle insert themselves into the picture and make sure they wipe out Archer, wipe out Allen, wipe out Sting, and then set Spears up for that TNT title. I would love to see that.
That could be coming too, because we know it's gonna, but then again, we're rushing the belts,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
let's not rush the belts, and let's
but yeah,
let's take our time and
I stick true to my.
draw it out.
I think it's Archer. I think Archer's your next TNT champion.
He
Um,
probably is. I'm hoping not, but he probably is. I want Archer to get a belt. Don't get me wrong, but I'm hoping Darby keeps it because I want to draw out these belts a little longer. I don't want them switching hands
right.
too frequently.
And I can see now, with Cage standing up to Taz and maybe splitting out maybe potentially splitting from Team Taz. Could be a swerve, man. Could be. But I could see Taz trying to pull that FTW belt off of Cage and now getting an actual match for the FTW championship between Cage and Hobbs.
That'd be cool. That'd be cool.
And then putting it on Hobbs, get it off Cage, and then Cage can move on.
Hobbs, because Hobbs is a beast. I like Hobbs.
Yeah, so
he's not going to do things that other guys do, but I like the fact that he's just going to destroy you. He's going to come in, he's going to beat you down, and leave and take what's his.
As soon as he stops making that stupid face.
Yeah.
Once he gets that out there, man, then like I say, he's a beast without making a goofy, gimmicky 1990 WWE face, man.
Yeah, get rid of the face. Yeah.
But yeah, I think that split's coming. That opens the door for Hook to come up, step up, and become an official wrestling member of Team Taz. I'm actually not even 100% sure how old Hook is, but he looks, he took some bumps in the cinematic match against Sting and Darby, so it's probably about time for him to have, a debut and come into wrestling.
Right.
So I've given specifically predictions on AEW World Title, TNT title, the tag team titles. I think the next champions, man. I think what I said is going to play out with Hangman Page, and I think unfortunately the Good Brothers are going to upset the Bucks at some point down the road, probably end of the year type pay per view, when this all culminates with the war between the faction within the faction. I think it's going to be the Good Brothers are going to be the first team out from outside of AEW. They're going to come in and be the tag team champions. Even though Finn and Juice don't get in, they haven't got, man, they should be taught. Man, I'll get back on that. But yeah, what do you think of that?
Which is cool if they do that, because then once again, I know I keep throwing it back to the territory days, but it throws it back to the territory days where any belts up for grabs. It doesn't matter what association you're with, whether you're with Impact,
right,
a WWE or an AEW, even though WWE doesn't participate. New Japan, MLW, NWA, anything up for grabs for all of them but WWE, because they don't want to be in the mix, but nonetheless.
Right? So that's a possibility, right? Actually, I almost forgot about this. So Rich Swann beat Moose to unify the Impact Championship. And now at their next pay-per-view, the end of April, like April 24th, April 26th, the Impact pay-per-view coming up, Kenny Omega and Rich Swann will wrestle title versus title.
I called that one for us.
Impact World Champion against
Swanee would be the guy because it makes more sense.
The match is going to be great.
They're kind of the same type of athlete.
So that one, man, dude, you put them both on Omega. You know what I mean? To unify, to put them both on Omega, have them defend them both back and forth. I mean, he really is has such a status that he's making Impact that much more relevant when he shows up on it. I could see that happening. Swann's definitely not taking an AEW title, but maybe a double disqualification, double countout, factions involved, blah blah blah. But I could see Omega taking that belt and having to defend both of them, and that ended up causing him, in time again over the next rest of the year, that causes him to lose both of them is because of that schedule.
Yeah, because Gallus has ties, and They're
Yep.
both with Tiger. Well, Callis is close to him, and Callis has ties both in Impact and AEW now
Right.
with him being willing to do what he's doing, and Callis and Omega are super close. So that would be that. You know,
But
they would be willing to do that.
throw into the mix Aldis, man. Aldis, again, right before we started taping today, I read a tweet from Aldis. He says, as the NWA World Champion, he's tired of Kenny Omega getting identified as being the greatest champion. And he's like, he said, this is a good one, man. Aldis he got this one, man. I got to give him props. He's carrying a belt that was worn by Dusty Rhodes, Harley Race, Ric Flair, Dory Funk Jr. He's wearing that belt. Kenny Omega's wearing a belt that's 2 years old.
Right.
So
Right.
it was great. That is straight up, AEW mindset storyline. That's great trash talking. And he said he wants to fight Omega. So now, man, maybe we get all three of those champions in there, man. The sky is the limit. We say that every week, but the sky is the limit. If you're a wrestling fan right now, man, you are lucky as hell because it is amazing. It is
Yeah.
the product. And AEW is great. Bring in some Impact guys. Bring in now NWA guys. And again, I think that they did a disservice to Tony Khan by not mentioning how Finn and Juice came in there and won that Impact World Tag Team Championship from the Good Brothers, because that would have never happened without Tony Khan bringing in the Good Brothers to AEW. It would have never happened without bringing in Thunder Rosa carrying the NWA Women's title. It would never have happened without him bringing Serena Deeb regularly defending that NWA Women's Championship on AEW television. It would have never happened had he not opened that door. So by not mentioning it, and like I said, I assume just like you, man, it's probably because it was taped and they didn't want to inadvertently spoil something. But man, you got to bring that up now, man. You got to mention that because that happened because of the mind of Tony Khan. And man, nothing but respect for that dude and what he's done for the business. Hopefully, it's time for WWE to step up now. You got Cornette talking shit on the AEW, so you can no longer say AEW is irrelevant. They're not a true competition for WWE because that's horse crap, man. You and I both know that, brother. That is fact. AEW is competition, and when you got what's his face Andrade being, WWE saying no, we will not release you. And he's just one of the big names. He's just one of the more recent. But look at all those dudes that are on payroll for WWE right now that are getting paid to sit at home and not do a damn thing. Why? Because of AEW. They know if they let them go, if they grant them that release, their 60-day, 90-day no-compete clause comes up, bam, they're AEW, man. And
well, not even just AEW. I mean, the potentially the possibility to go to Impact too. That's
right, which AEW is really keeping alive. So my point to that rant is AEW is directly competitive with WWE now. They're not on the same stage, and no one's ever going to be on the same stage as what WWE is. WWE's they always will be the biggest stage of them all. But man, AEW is direct competition, and they got the wrestling fans that are wrestling fans that still want to see the psychology of a match. That still want to see a good storyline. And like I said, and Tony, really keeping Impact alive through the pandemic definitely kept NWA alive, man. I think we mention it every week. Billy Corgan was talking about there was too many rumors out there about bankruptcy before Thunder Rosa showed up with that NWA World Women's Championship on AEW television. Too many rumors about bankruptcy for there not to be some meat to it. You'll never tell me that he didn't save that company.
Oh, he did save it. He did save it somehow. I just don't know how. And I think he was probably Tony Khan a little bit thankful too. He has some other talent that he signed to an AEW contract, and he's got to show some sort of gratitude, I guess. And it's nice. It's nice that he's helped keep the NWA afloat because that's what's been going on for years. We've known NWA. NWA's been almost since wrestling's begun. I mean, once again, the rest pro wrestling goes back to the vaudeville days of the circus and stuff.
Right.
But nonetheless, I mean, NWA's been a factor in pro wrestling for years upon years.
Yeah, if anything, man, the history behind the NWA. You got to keep it alive, dude. Because Aldis was right when he said that's the belt, that's the gold that Dusty Rhodes, Ric Flair, Harley Race, Dory Funk. That's the gold that they wore. You can't let that.
Right.
You can't ever bury that, man. You got to let that,
Let that ride.
live on, dude,
Yep.
forever. Um, but here's my prediction for the future non AEW wrestling fans are going to have Tony Khan to thank for. I don't know if it's going to be tonight at the pay per view or if they'll drag it. It's only another month or so till WrestleMania. My gut prediction says CM Punk will be back in WWE wrestling. Why? Because if they don't sign him and let him wrestle, he's going to take his happy ass to AEW. And WWE knows it, and they know how big of a pop he'll get. They know how much his merch is going to sell. And wrestling fans, even though he's not going to be in AEW, you're going to have Tony Khan to thank because they're going to bring Punk back, man. Cage was the
Yeah.
last straw. Letting Christian
Yeah.
back, man, that was it. But you know what I'm saying? Like if Brock says I want to pay $1 billion to wrestle a 1 5-minute match every 6 years, by God, you're going to get that 1 5-minute match every 6 years with WWE. And Punk will be back in WWE within this year. I think by WrestleMania, if not on WrestleMania.
Yeah, you could see Vince almost backing up the truck and giving money to CM Punk, giving it to Lesnar, and even if AJ Lee still has a little interest of step in the ring, he might back the truck up for her too, just to get Punk.
Right. We said it last week, man. Punk's quote was roughly that it would take an enormous amount of money to get him out of retirement or a great storyline. And that right there was Vince's, hey, Vince, guess what? I don't have to get paid the billions and billions of dollars. They're going to pay me if it's something creative where I have control. If it's basically, he just said AEW. And Vince took notice, man. He's not dumb, dude. He took notice to that. I'm telling you, if not before WrestleMania, at WrestleMania, I'd be surprised as hell if you didn't hear that what's his theme song, the Call to
Personality.
If you don't hear that laid up on WrestleMania, if you haven't heard it before, if you don't hear it on WrestleMania, I'd be very surprised, man, because he's coming back. There's no question. He got to. It's one of the. It's the time where you bring damn Hulk Hogan, back to wrestling to host WrestleMania. It's desperation, baby. It's the Monday Night Wars all over again. It's Eric Bischoff telling you what's going to happen over on Raw before it happens on live television.
Speaking of Eric Bischoff, I don't do much with WWE myself anymore, but the fact is that Eazy-E is a WWE Hall of Famer.
Yeah, I can't believe they put him in a Hall of Fame for as much connection as he's had with AEW in the last year.
Yeah, they put him in. Well, it's probably trying to, back and forth with the war. So, do the war thing and make it happen. So, Molly Holly's going in, I think, is another one, and who knows where they go. But the war thing's on. Whether people want to say it's a war or not, right. It's a war between AEW and WWE, right. And Vince better back the truck up for some of these wrestlers, or right. He's going to be in trouble. And give him a storyline. He's going to have no choice but the only thing is it's a public traded company, so who knows where it goes with that.
Yeah, you can have stock people to answer to. You know what I'm saying? We own WWE stock. You know what I'm saying? If I owned enough to be at that board meeting and be like, hey man, you need to get your head out of your ass, dude. AEW they've got the product that's going right. How come our ratings aren't? Their ratings are shooting up. They're doing this free stuff. You won't let them, being elite, man. They mock it all the time. The slap thing was just one of them, and that was hilarious. That they were handing out fines for slapping your leg, like WWE putting a sign in the back that you'll be fined if you do that. But they're all over, man. They burn them every week about Cameo and being allowed. Matt Hardy, Money Matt's character is Vince McMahon, basically, in my mind, because he's always like, no, you got if you can't do that, you can't do a Cameo. If you do Cameo, I get 30%. Like Money Matt is Vince McMahon, dude, and they poke fun at him all the time. And this is one where hopefully poking the bear will wake him up, and get WWE back where it needs to be and get these storylines going. Randy Orton spitting up black sludge and it's horse shit, man. You know what I'm saying? It's
Oh,
stupid.
speaking of Orton, Randy Orton's uncle passed away. So
Barrio.
rest in peace, Randy Orton's uncle. Barry O, I believe,
Mm-hmm.
is the name.
Yep.
So rest in peace, Barry O.
Heck yeah. So hey man, we took up a lot of time here tonight on this one. I'm gonna get these posted and put out there. I'm gonna try something different here this week. I'm gonna try and go live right after the each match, and then when you get Kobe and I on Saturday, we'll be able to kind of talk a little bit about what had happened, but we'll already give you the recap, and we'll talk about what's going on, what's the here and now, what's the news. But again, man, hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that share with your friends, wrestling fans. Appreciate it, man. Until next week. See you later.
Until next week.